So, with that said, I wanted to bring a dude on that has become a friend. He is a Sanford staple. He is a singer-songwriter. He plays the only type of country music that I actually fuck with. One of the only types of country music that I fuck with, which is outlaw country. And it comes from, and the reason is because it comes from a real place. Like, there's the history of that we're going to talk about includes everything from growing up in similar scenes and the same music scenes. And I really just wanted to sit down with him and talk about literally anything else outside of the genocide, so that next week or in a couple of weeks I can bring Rami back on and shit on the American government for being such pussies again. With that said, I'm going to bring on my buddy, singer-songwriter Ryan Thorne from Ryan Thorne and the Ramblers. What's up, homie?
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Dude, it is so good to see you. I am. This has been a long time coming.
I was going to say, that's the words out of my mouth, man. Long time coming, let me tell you.
Dude, you and I met in one of the weirdest and coolest ways, where we almost got into a fight over some whiskey. And then the next day, you came up, and this right here is why I was like, man, this guy's a G. This guy's cool. You came back the next day because you knew I was going to be hanging out at West End, and you tried to buy me a drink, and then you said, "Hey, let's talk," and I'm sorry, and blah blah blah, and I was like, "God damn, you know what, man? That's really cool." And so like that right there, after that happened, I got to know you more and realized, holy shit, how the hell did we not meet? I don't know. 15 years ago.
You're right. It's really weird. We never seen each other at a show or anything.
No.
I mean, we literally grew up the exact same. Like,
yeah,
it's wild.
Like, so tell me a little bit about like how because you grew up here.
Absolutely. I was born on First Street.
You were born on
I'm
First
born on First Street, yeah.
Wow, born on First Street. That needs to be an album name.
Yeah.
That's an
Absolutely.
album name.
Born on First Street, raised on Lake Jessup. That's it.
That's awesome.
Same 5 acres most of my life. I didn't move off. I moved to Miami when I was 21, joined a hardcore band then.
Nice.
But came back quite quickly because,
nobody
English,
joins
man.
a hardcore band for the financial stability. Let's just call it that. Yeah,
that's a whole struggle we can get into. But
for sure.
Yeah, I love Sanford. I love this city more than most people.
Sure.
I have Bo Keat tattooed on my stomach. I'm proud to be from here.
You can't get more gangster than the stomach tattoo. I was actually just watching a thing on Tupac. Speaking of that, and it says a lot about a person when you're like, all right, so what do you love the most that you get tattooed on your stomach? And you loving Bo Keat, and Bo Keat not being like in LA or not even in Orlando.
Oh no, not at all. Yeah,
it's a small town, and that's why I dig it. Like, I mean, I grew up in Lake Mary.
Yeah.
I'd get my drugs here. Yeah. I'd go to 13th Street
and my
to
drugs
buy my
and
weed.
STDs come from here.
Yeah. Just the drugs, 86 the STD, thank you. But no, I went to, I would go to 13th Street to buy my weed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And now I get my craft beer and my weed from Sanford. So there is that. So you spent a little time in Miami.
I did, yes.
And what was the hardcore band you were part of there?
Knock 'em Dead. I was in a band called Knock 'em Dead then. I played guitar in Knock 'em Dead. And I had a short stint with another band called Tough Break. I played drums in down there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
They both sound like beatdown hardcore bands.
They are beatdown hardcore, Latino proud.
Oh, hell yeah.
The family I lived with, the brothers were the only ones that spoke English. The mother and father did not speak English.
Hell yeah.
Straight from Nicaragua.
Dude, there is
I learned
so
a lot.
much. There is so much Latin influence. Like, people talk about the music scene, the hardcore music scene, being so white, but the reality is that there is so much Latin influence.
New York hardcore,
New York hardcore is mostly. They're like a baseball
Spanish,
team.
Dude.
There are so many Latin people in New York hardcore. You'd think that you're talking about a baseball team.
Absolutely.
But it's really cool, and it goes back to like the grooves, but the aggressiveness of hip hop and everything like that, along with the grooves of Latin music and grooves of hip hop. combined with, you know, just the aggression.
Yeah, absolutely.
The aggression being part of an othered culture. Because musically and culturally, it's I went to the yuppie elementary school. Like, you know, Mike Morgan is a classmate of mine. I just saw him at West End not too long ago. Shout out Mike Morgan.
This makes sense with the rebelling with you as well.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
this is starting to make sense a little bit now.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, so were you? When did you like? Because I became a Christian. At the age of 18. Okay. And I left the faith, quote unquote, probably completely 37, maybe 38. All right. And yeah, so like, what did you have that sort of transition?
I was born and raised into it.
Yeah, dude. So I'll tell you, anytime you're on stage, you sound like a fucking preacher, and it's not. it's in the blood. The Southern accent.
Absolutely, yeah. It's in the. And I tell you, the next song is about murder, marijuana. Lord. Come on down the aisle, get blessed. No, my grandpa moved down here from Indiana and felt the calling to start a church. Okay. Started a church out of his house. Okay. And off Cameron Avenue. Damn. Started a church there and grew and got his church into 16th and Magnolia. Okay. And then from there, he had a church off of by Gators down there off Celery and Cameron. That he had a church down there.
Wow, dude. So that's deep. Deep Sanford.
The roots run deep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. My entire family is still in church as well. Wow. I respect the church. I respect the faith and everything. Sure. I'm thankful and blessed to have had the upbringing that I did. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know, you can see where there's some
discrepant. No, I get it. I get it.
I have my own faith as well, but I respect my family and I respect the things that I got brought up in.
Yeah, you know? I have a complicated relationship with faith.
Understandable.
Because of there's a lot of it that has to do with just the faith itself, but also the co-opting of the faith by right-wing political parties. Yeah. And so for me, that complicated relationship, especially considering that you and I were talking off the air, you know, me growing up in radio, mm-hmm. like I cut my teeth in conservative talk radio. Yeah. So everything that I learned from conservative talk radio was kind of like an add-on to what I was already grown up in. Yeah. And so when I left it hard, and I left it with a vengeance because I felt duped. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, but I will say that, I mean, I still have my tattoos about Christianity on me. Mm-hmm. Those haven't gotten covered up yet, but I will say that there is an element of, I'm not going to say, I'll say respect because there's not a better term. Respect, mm-hmm. but with a very short fuse.
I understand.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Like, I think we're saying the same thing, actually.
Yeah. It's like, absolutely. It's like, yeah, fine. It's kind of the same. You know what? It's very similar to how evangelical Christians in the 90s would say about gay people. It's like, I feel the same way about them that they felt about gay people in the 90s. Look, fine, you can believe what you want about gay people and about everything, but just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it to yourself. It's been shoved down my throat enough, all right?
Exactly.
No pun intended.